Your quiet presence said more than any words could say. You were fantastic. She was absolutely correct. I was focused and thinking of only the audience in front of me and not that I was being watched across America. All those millions of viewers that tune in who maybe could see through the circus charade and hear the grain of truth each of us was sharing on the panel. I want to personally share a bit about my mother-in-law, in that she was not your ordinary run-of-the-mill mother-in-laws. She was a powerhouse of a woman. Although she was the stereotypical character when Sharon and I first got together, she did everything she could to try and make it not happen with her daughter marrying me. I did not have a college degree, big minus. I was this hippie artist, another minus. On paper, I did not stand up to her standards, but eventually I won her over with love, and Sharon would say, quote, she got to know my core and my substance. Then I was her shining son-in-law. Standing at 4 feet 10 inches, weighing less than 100 pounds, she was a living legend in her own right. From the 1950s onwards, she was a major mover and shaker of American politics. She was the highest ranking woman in the United Auto Workers Union. She worked closely and held the ear of both President J.F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy when it came to labor, civil, and women's rights. She served as president of the Board of Governors for Wayne State University and received the Medal of Freedom from then President Clinton. The Medal of Freedom is the highest honor an American non-military citizen can receive from a seated president. She was awarded it for her decades of work for unions, women's rights, and minority rights, and had the ears of seated presidents and presidential candidates. She was a powerhouse and not someone to go up against unless you had your facts in order. So, for her to call me and tell me the impact I had on national TV was no small act. She was instrumental in awakening me to the impact one can have in society and culture. Each one of us has impact and our acts do matter. I keep this in mind every time I go live on national television. A couple days later, I'm back in San Francisco, riding in an elevator in a hotel when a man in the elevator turns to me and says, I know you from somewhere. I'm great with remembering faces, but I look at him and realize I've never seen this person before. I then say, I don't think so. I'm great with faces and I don't recognize you. Then what came out of his mouth was a surprise. He said, yes, now I know where I've seen you. You were on the Oprah Winfrey Show the other day. You were fantastic. I'm thinking, really? I turn to him and say, the show was a joke with how they played us by stuffing the audience with born-again Christians, calling us the devil, and worshiping with crystals and the New Age. What he said next really was another surprise. Quote, what you had to say was good, but what you did not say, just by sitting there for most of the hour, had a tremendous impact. The fact that you just sat there with crossed arms and remained silent and did not fall into the trap by engaging the audience in a no-win conversation had such a powerful impact. Your quiet presence said more than any words could say. You were great on the show. Wow, another person helping me to realize how powerful just one's presence can have on others. The moral of this story is never underestimate your impact. We all have effect on our reality with our very thought and feeling, whether spoken or merely thought in mind and heart. They go out into the world like ripples on a pond. My presence on the stage and the very few things I said, but in fact the majority of what I did not say, had maybe a meaning and impact to all those millions of people watching the show nationwide. What I gleaned from this experience is, never underestimate when your presence and the few or many words you speak may touch another. This you can't predict. There were probably many others who were watching this show who had similar reactions as my mother-in-law and the stranger. I now realize I had been a positive influence. I now know it's more important what my intention or my motivation is when I do speak. At that moment on TV, I knew that I didn't want to further flame the fires of conflict. I didn't want to participate in the conversation, knowing full well it would only perpetuate the polarity that the show was trying to create. I now realize that sometimes silence can be the best communicator. The old Lao Tzu proverb rings true here. He who knows does not say. He who says often does not know. Now that I've appeared live several times a year on TV, my presence, my knowledge, and the beauty I share with as much conscious intent as I can, I know it can have major impact. So many have written to me to confirm this fact. The fact that the creation of my beautiful work has major personal impact on so many others. And the knowledge I share is an inspiration to so many and filling in a richness to the beauty in my jewelry.